I don't envy drivers. I was flirting with maybe hiring a car or whatever, but actually expense wise I just don't think it's a good economy unless I were to sleep in it a bunch, perhaps. But you know, having somewhere you can comfortably take a shower and sit down in a cozy chair in a quiet room, it's quite nice when all is said and done. Saying that, I'm still flirting with heading into the jungle, and I think the options for hot showers and cozy chairs may diminish in that experience. I would quite like to go volunteer somewhere. Actually waiting on a few leads vis-a-vis essentially doing voluntary work a few hours a day, and then in exchange having some food and somewhere to sleep. Even though these places provide you with an email, it's anyone's guess how often they actually get to look at their email accounts. So yeah, we'll just have to see, I guess. Interesting. Is this a dead end? It does appear to be one. Well, in all this time actually of running in Cusco, I've done really quite a lot now. I try and get out several times a week. But yeah, in all this time, that I think is the first dead end I have found. How funny is that? And I will publish this video because I've tried doing these kind of running vlogs so many times now. Every time it comes out and I'm like, it's not quite what I'm after. But no, this time I'm going to publish it. Scout's honour. I mean, there've been a few trial and errors along the way, partly because I think I must have had the wrong kind of chassis for the GoPro. The GoPro is kind of housed in its own little cage, and then you stick the cage onto the chest plate, which I'm now using. But by default, that cage, the GoPro cage, doesn't actually hold the rather, when you put it on the plate of the chest thingy, it angles the GoPro either too high or too low. So I ended up having to build my own kind of adjustment with a bunch of string to try and sort that problem. But yeah, you were about bang on for a good picture now. I've certainly been getting much better results from it, which is just as well. I actually sorted that problem out before I went on the Inca Trail, and I do have an extensive set of recordings from the Inca Trail, but it's just getting around to actually mixing them down, because it's hours of footage and I've just been so busy. you know, one of the big things for me why I came traveling was, oh, I want more time to, I mean, obviously I want to come and see amazing things and meet different cultures and especially speak Spanish as well, but yeah, on top of that, I really wanted to invest some time in doing some private projects, one of which is the running and the exploring with the GoPro. But yeah, time even now has been at a premium, partly because the boleto turistico I mentioned earlier requires quite a large chunk of time. But yeah, that has scooped up a huge amount of my time, and in addition, just kind of life jobs, you know, where I'm going next, organising payments for different people, buying bits and pieces that I've needed along the way. But right kind of on the edge now of the old town. You can head from here to Avenida della Cultura, and it's kind of a big bus stop in this part of the world, should you need it. But I guess once the Spanish lesson's done, once I start travelling a bit further afield, I will have more time. That's not least because I also have quite a kind of large-scale programming project that I'm working on, and some other projects I'd really like to engage with. So it'd be a great shame if I wasn't able to kind of crack on with those. It's funny actually, it's an ambivalent experience with programming, because I mean, when you're in the UK the weather might not be great, so you know, if it's a quiet night you're like, sure, I want to, you know, work on whatever project, get some lines of code fixed or whatever. But when you're in somewhere new and there's so much to see and do, that incentive diminishes slightly. You're left thinking, well, I could come back to Cusco, but you know, there's so much of the world to see that it would be a shame to just kind of burn days and days on end to I should show this. I'll write a comment on the name of that church. Man, all the names of all the places completely escaping me on this run. I don't know why. I had a late night last night, maybe that's something to do with it. Anyways, yeah, so mustering incentive is difficult. You want to go run, you want to go visit Sacsayhuaman or whatever, you know. There's still so many places I'd quite like to see. They're just saying, no, you know what, I'm gonna sit in a room or a courtyard somewhere and bang out some code for a bit. Isn't quite as attractive a proposition as it's been before. Yeah, this is a site I'd like to go to. For example, you find this all over the shop. It's just, this place is brimming with culture. Can't move for it. It's pretty wonderful. see again. I want to say this is another site I'm going to have to look up. All names today, all names are gone. See the pressure of recording or something. Oh well, you can laugh at me if you like. Forgetful gringo. Maybe that should be my channel name. Okay, so we're now heading to Plaza de Armas itself. Which is a real, I mean, as well as kind of being the heart of everything, it's also kind of a good meeting spot for a lot of people. And actually, they quite often have kind of events on here, especially on Sundays. Sundays and Saturdays. My teacher, Marita, said that her school had like a march the other week. It's a very weird experience to me that your school would celebrate its anniversary with a tour around the town square effectively. It's kind of quaint, I guess. I have no fond feelings for my school, so were it to ever have such an event, you can count on me not being there for certain. But yeah, anyway, different culture, innit? It's a different way of life. Speaking of which, we recently had the Day of Life and the Day of the Dead, and Marita took me to the cemetery, which again is another thing. It's very, very different from sort of how European cemeteries tend to be. They use what are known as niches, or niches as we would say in English. But
and then on our father's side,
yeah, it's essentially a bit like high-rise graveyard. You have a niche in a building, and the body is interred, and then in front of the body they have kind of like a little memorial box with a glass door, and people respectively for their so sorry, I'll just quickly show you. This is the Jesuit church, and over there is the cathedral. But yeah, so yeah, these niches have these boxes people put, depending on, you know, who it was, flowers. If it's children, they put toys. You know, if it was a spouse or a partner of some kind, then, you know, there might be something specific, something that individual liked. And sometimes holy water. It's quite nice, you know. It's when we visited the cemetery, two girls had brought a speaker and a microphone and were actually singing to a grave niche, and it was again, it was just one of those things that it was quite a beautiful scene, but just totally not something you would see in the UK. to my knowledge anyway, in my experience. And as a rule, they felt like quite positive spaces. It didn't feel like you know, so much of a kind of mourning of loss as a kind of celebration of life and of kind of what was so wonderful about that person. I actually thought it was, if anything, kind of healthier way of seeing the dead. You know, there's a kind of strong component of the kind of cultural zeitgeist, I guess, sort of says that the dead are kind of still with you in this culture, and I think that's I don't know, I think that's really healthy for people. I think it really helps them appreciate the person and kind of not kind of forever mourn them, or, you know, kind of think on the sad things about losing that person. I don't know, that's just my 2 pence. So yeah, I'm just doing a quick turn around the plaza. Probably head up, maybe, yeah, I think I'll go over yonder. If you can't see it, there's McDonald's. Managed to make its way into Cusco. To my knowledge, that's the only one in the city. And speaking of meat eating, I'm a vegetarian, and tell you what, it's not always easy to get vegetables, or specifically vegetarian dishes over here.